Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing alright. So my third sexual experience, with a female, just saying, happened actually when I went. I was working at Nello, a place called Nello's, which was in Phoenix, Arizona, in a small little area of Phoenix called Ahwatukee. And in that area of Ahwatukee, there was, I think there still is, but there was an Italian restaurant. I mean, they call it a restaurant, but I mean, yeah, it's a restaurant. You sit down, you have a waiter, da da da. Called Nello's. It's an Italian place, and they serve pizza, pasta, salads, paninis, or not. I'm sorry, not paninis. Fucking wait, it was a panini. Yeah, they are paninis. Sorry. Yeah, they got little pasta, pizza, salads, beer, and they also have a wood fire oven. So they offer like the conventional oven of a pizza make. They have a conventional oven for where they produce most of their pizzas. And they also have a separate area, kind of near the bar. It's kind of cool the way they designed it there, where they have a wood fire oven. And there, you have a wood fire where you have to fucking feed the fire, and you can cook like 3 pizzas in there at a time, and people come and see you, so it's a little bit more interactive. It's actually kind of a prestigious position to be put in if you happen to find yourself, because you gotta be, the only way you get to that position is if you're proven to be extremely capable in your ability to make pizzas. So they only put like some of the most experienced pizza makers there. And I did get myself over there for a little bit. And that's actually, it's a pretty fun job, man. Working a wood fire oven, just like knowing that, like that's how our ancestors made food back in the day and this and that. And like the way the pizzas come out, like there is like the smokiness from like, especially if you use like some good type of wood, it does change the flavor of the pizza. So it is a little bit more organic, as opposed to putting it through a machine that's cooking the pizza. So I do appreciate, and if you never tried a wood fire pizza, you should try one. Even though bread isn't very good for you, but it's worth it to try at least once. But anyways, let me get back on the topic. So I was working at a Nello's restaurant, pizza restaurant inside Ahwatukee, which is inside of Phoenix, Arizona. And I'd been working there for about a year, so I'd saved up I had some savings. I think I had like it was either 1,000 or 2,000 bucks. I had over $1,000. I remember that. And I decided to go on a vacation. I had a buddy whom I grew up with, who he had moved over to Pittsburgh, the East Coast, years ago, and we had been talking on the phone, and we both decided that I'd come up and visit him in Pittsburgh, and he befriended a bunch of people, and like we were gonna party. We were both in our early 20s and shit, so we were very much into partying and fucking we were just smoking weed and drinking beer at that time. I mean, this is actually during the time, or one of the other few times when I was off of pills and I was just smoking weed and drinking beer. um so yeah, and I was in really good shape, great physical shape and all this and that. And so we actually went over to, I flew over to Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Is it Philadelphia or Pennsylvania? I forget which. The city of Pittsburgh, whichever state. I think it's Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, I can't remember, man. But it was Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh. We went to, and I went there for a week, and I hanged out with my buddy. He had his own, well, not his, yeah, it was his place that he shared with a roommate. But I mean, so he's from his dad's very wealthy, like extremely wealthy. So he had some money, a nice car, this and that, a nice place with a bunch of nice stuff. I mean, pretty nice stuff. I mean, for how old he was, yeah, he's pretty fortunate. Anyways, he's a great dude, and he's actually one of the few people that, I just, he never did me wrong. Not really. Like we had a little bit of an issue back in the day, but not like some. When I say like wrong, like I do feel like I was treated, in a disrespectful way with some of my former friends. Whereas a long time ago, he did something, but recently he hasn't done anything in the past 10 years. He's actually been one of the few people that's been extremely supportive of me throughout this time. Yeah, he's been there when others haven't even been there. He was there and helped me out in a time of need. So I appreciate him. Although he has been watching my channel off and on, I don't know how frequently. And I just feel weird because it's like I feel like y'all have seen me online, and it's like I know I've talked about desires to kill myself, and it's like it's just strange for me to say these types of things, and to like for me to like think that I have friends out there. And it's like when I don't get like people like showing concern for me, like when I'm talking about killing myself, like that doesn't, it's just like what, That just seems like it's common sense. Like if I saw one of you guys posting something like that, I would, at the very least, just like do something to reach out. Just something. So anyways, with that being said, like as much as I like this guy, he did, I don't know if he was aware of it or if he wasn't, or if he just had too much shit going on. Cause I know his father's been going through some serious health issues. I hope he's all right. But that was one thing that happened recently, which kind of irked me, was I felt like he might have been aware of me having desires to kill myself and he chose not to reach out. So, and he's not the only one. There's a few people that chose that. But anyways, let me just move on and get back to the point. So I'm going on Pittsburgh. We're on vacation. I saved up money. I'm young. And I was also in a circle of friends. He had like a whole bunch of like partying friends. Like he had a whole circle of friends that he'd party with all the time. So I got introduced to all of them, very quickly. And he had two really good buddies who were like real thick. And then he had a bunch of other like just close proximity type peoples and acquaintances that he hung out with. And so yeah, it was wild. I got to meet a whole bunch of people, got to see Pittsburgh. He drove me around Pittsburgh, walked through parks late as fucking night, went to numerous house parties, walked around the streets, got shit faced. We went to Canada, which was wild. We fucking got drunk as fuck at Toronto and ended up in some after hours bar that we had to have like some VIP. We met this chick at one bar who had a VIP pass to another bar, and it happened to be her birthday, and she took me and my buddy to this VIP bar, this after hours bar, and we ended up going there and getting shit faced, and we actually ended up getting separated. He ended up hanging out with some people that were doing coke, and he ended up doing some coke and doing more shots and getting super fucked up. And I ended up in the bathroom talking to this melanated rich gentleman who must have been in his 40s or something. And he kept on telling me, like, it was really strange. I was a little drunk, but I wasn't really too shit faced. And he was telling me like, I've got power. Like he was telling me I've got like something. I don't know. It was a weird conversation. Like he just kept on like flattering me in a strange way. I don't know. Now that I look back, maybe he was trying to fucking. No, I don't think he was trying to do that. I don't know what I think he was just. I don't know, dude. Like he was just kind of amazed at who I was, and even though he never knew me, just the way I looked, something in that drew his attention. So he was just talking to me about all these like flattering things about me and myself, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. But it wasn't just flattery. He was also like trying to like be real with me and give me some serious wisdom. But anyways, so that happened, and then we left the bathroom, and then as soon as I got out the bathroom, there was these girls fucking dancing in the mirror and shit, and the dude who was just talking to me, he like threw me into this girl, and I started dancing with this girl, and as soon as that fucking happened, my buddy came up to me, and he was like, dude, I'm fucking shit-faced, we gotta get out of here, and so I was like, dude, I don't want to leave. He was like, I got to go, like now. And so he just started fucking leaving. And I followed him. I left with him. I left the girl, left that bar. We got a taxi. He got a little sick before we got home, but he was all right. We ended up getting home. And, but anyways, that was just one night. But then I think it was the next night or a couple nights later. It was closer to the time that I was scheduled to go back to Phoenix, that we went to a house party, and there was a chick there, and she was, oh man, I can't even remember her name. Anyway, she was kind of cool. She was cool. Like, I don't know, she was different. Like the way she held herself, like she was kind. And I also noticed she wasn't like, she was a little overweight. So I could tell she wasn't like part of like that super, 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 super popular club. Cause like my buddy was a part of a bunch of people. And like within those people, you could tell there was people that were like, the stars of the party. And she wasn't quite in the middle of them, although she knew some of them, but she was kind of on the outsides. And I don't know, we just ended up talking, and I just ended up talking with her the whole night until it was time for us to go home. And she came home with me, and we went to I was staying at my buddy's house, so he took me and her home back to his house. Or no, I think we stayed at his dad's house that night. Yeah, I think we stayed at his dad's house that night, or we went there for a little bit, and me and her ended up fucking having sex at his dad's house. And she was actually the first girl that gave me a real good blowjob. And damn, it's just been, it was so good and so powerful, and I'm so sensitive. I had to like stop her, because I didn't want things to happen, because it was just like, dude, I don't want to fucking. I didn't want to be premature. I mean, it was just like I could just tell. It was like, whoa, I'm really not used to this shit. She's fucking going down on me fucking hardcore. This feels great, And so before I, prematurely ejaculated is essentially what, because I'm so sensitive, dude. Like I was like, whoa, this is just so powerful. And I was very young, so I was like even more energy flowing through me. So I kind of like, I stopped her and we just ended up fucking right after that because I was, so like taking a pause in the blowjob, obviously fucking it's gonna take a pause in the sensations in my penis. So then I was able to, last a little bit longer and, we ended up having sex. Then we actually left that house. And but the thing is, I'll talk about it. So like I really liked her for a lot of different reasons. She wanted to be my boyfriend. She wanted to be my girlfriend, actually. Even though I lived in Phoenix, like she took my number down and I was actually she was one of the first things that got me because it was like, technically that was my first one night stand. And I remember waking up the next day feeling like just kind of awkward. Like I didn't know her. Like, it's like we just had sex and all this stuff, and it's like this really intimate moment. We slept together in the same bed and all this and that. And I woke up the next morning just being like, I just realized like I really don't even know this person, and it's just like it's kind of weird. Like we just exchanged the most intimate, really things that a man and woman can do together, and I don't even really know you. So that was strange. So I ended up like, and I was just in kind of a weird, see, like right then and there, like if I had known what I know now, I would have been more in with my emotions and like expressed my emotions and talk with her about shit. But I didn't even think about going into there because like growing up in that mentality, like the way that I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, like emotions and all that type of shit, like that's the type of shit that gets you made fun of. Like that's not the type of shit that girls want to hear about. That's not the type of shit that's gonna make you cool. It's not gonna get you friends. So it's like, I also just didn't even know how to express. I didn't even know what these emotions were. I just knew I had this profound like deepness inside of me that I didn't even know what to do with. So, I think that's what ate me up a lot of the times. I just didn't feel like I had the ability to relate to anybody. And so because I didn't feel like I could relate to anybody, I have this, pain and also I just don't know where the pain's coming from. So it's like in a number of different ways, I'm getting confounded with this, with just this unknown, resistance or feeling of not knowing where the pain's coming from and how to deal with the pain and how to connect to people and why I'm fucking here and all these types of things. And then this is a large reason why I think I became an opiate addict for so long, is because the opiates just, they just quell that pain. That's exactly what they're designed to do, is to take pain away. They're painkillers. So it makes sense in retrospect as I look back on my life that I got hooked on painkillers, as a lot of people in my situation have. So anyway, but that happened. So we ended up, anyways, back to the fucking or the sex. I'm sorry, because like with her, like I wasn't shit faced. Like I was coherent. Like I actually, I slowed down